Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're looking for your next unforgettable digital adventure, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're hitting that metaphorical press start button on a massive arcade cabinet of content. Why? Because we're diving straight into the Xbox treasure vault of modern gaming masterpieces. We are counting down the definitive top 10 best Xbox Series X and S games that you just have to play, curating the 2026 edition specifically. Get ready, because this is going to be a really fun one.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The Xbox Series X and S library has truly blossomed into an absolute treasure vault over the last few years. And what we're looking at today on this list, these aren't just good games. No, these titles showcase the absolute peak of what modern gaming can achieve. We're talking breathtaking worlds, unforgettable stories, and gameplay loops you literally cannot put down.
Let's kick things off by looking at the first batch of games on our arcade leaderboard, counting down from 10 to 7. We're starting strong with Halo Infinite at 10, sailing into Sea of Thieves at 9, taking to the skies with Microsoft Flight Simulator at 8, and diving into the massive RPG Metaphor ReFantazio at number 7. Let's break down exactly why these made the cut.
So kicking off at number 10, Halo Infinite. It successfully captures the spirit of those classic Master Chief adventures, right? But it brilliantly modernizes the formula. The open-world structure gives you so much freedom, and that grappling hook, oh man, it's so incredibly satisfying. It genuinely feels like a superpower disguised as a simple traversal tool. Combine that with a stellar multiplayer suite, and it's an easy inclusion. Then, at number 9, we have Sea of Thieves. Look, honestly, no game creates organic stories quite like this one. One minute, you and your buddies are peacefully singing shanties hunting for gold. The very next minute, you're desperately patching holes in your hull because a kraken just decided you look like a tasty snack. Every single voyage turns into an unpredictable tale worth retelling.
And this brilliantly illustrates why Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 takes our number 8 spot. It's been described as a passport to Earth, and wow, that couldn't be more accurate. It's really less of a traditional game and more of a jaw-dropping technical simulation. You can literally fly over your own hometown. You can seamlessly explore famous global landmarks or, just find some peace and lose yourself above the clouds. The visual fidelity here practically borders on absolute wizardry.
Coming in at number 7, we've got Metaphor ReFantazio. If you're an RPG fan, definitely pay attention to this one. Imagine taking the legendary style and the deep social systems of the Persona series and just dropping them right into a grand, sweeping fantasy kingdom. The result is easily one of the most creative RPGs we've seen in years. It's absolutely packed with memorable characters, deeply strategic combat, and a storyline with enough twists and turns to fill a royal court with endless conspiracy theories.
Moving right along, we enter the next tier of our countdown, covering ranks 6 through 4. We've got globe-trotting action with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a massive sci-fi redemption story in Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, and the surprise hit RPG Claire Obscure, Expedition 33.
Cracking the whip at number 6, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle achieves something really difficult. It actually makes you forget you're holding a controller. You don't just play an archaeologist here, you truly become Indiana Jones. The sharp writing, the clever puzzles, the meticulous exploration, and the globe-trotting adventure, it all feels ripped straight from the cinematic reels of the original films. It confidently stands among the absolute finest licensed games ever made.
Then at number 5, we have a game with one of the most fascinating trajectories in gaming history. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition has fully transformed Night City from a launch day cautionary tale into an undeniable masterpiece. This Ultimate Edition combines the already heavily patched base game with the phenomenal Phantom Liberty expansion. Right now, there are very few virtual worlds that feel as intensely alive, remarkably dangerous, and just deeply immersive as this neon-soaked urban jungle.
Coming in at number 4 is arguably one of the biggest surprises of the entire console generation, Claire Obscure, Expedition 33. This quote perfectly captures it, saying the story hits like a freight train wearing a velvet suit. This game beautifully marries traditional turn-based combat with active real-time mechanics. But what really sets it apart is how it wraps all of that in this hauntingly beautiful, surreal world heavily inspired by French art and culture. It is a total emotional and aesthetic powerhouse.
Let's move to the next tier and see how this builds, because we have officially reached the elite level of our high score list, the podium. At number 3, the racing giant Forza Horizon 5, and at number 2, the sprawling fantasy epic Baldur's Gate 3.
Let's not mince words here. Forza Horizon 5 is, quite simply, the greatest open-world racing game ever made. It uses this beautifully rendered Mexico as a gigantic, diverse playground. You're racing through arid deserts, hacking through dense jungles, speeding up the sides of active volcanoes, all while collecting hundreds of meticulously detailed cars. The progression loop is so perfectly tuned that even players who actively don't care about racing at all, they often end up completely addicted after just a few hours.
Narrowly missing the top spot is number 2, Baldur's Gate 3. This RPG is defined by one core concept: absurd amounts of freedom. Want to talk your way out of a fight and negotiate with a terrifying villain? You can totally do that. Prefer to stick to the shadows and sneak entirely around an encounter? Go right ahead. Or what about the perfectly valid tactical strategy of simply picking up a goblin and throwing them off a steep cliff? The game actively encourages it. In Baldur's Gate 3, every single choice feels genuinely meaningful, guaranteeing your playthrough becomes uniquely yours.
All right, we are almost at the number 1 spot. But before we face the final boss of this explainer, we need to hit the pause menu. We've got to acknowledge a few incredible games that are absolute must-plays, even though they just barely missed making the final top 10 cut.
These are our heavy-hitting honorable mentions. We've got the towering beasts of Monster Hunter Wilds, the historical intrigue of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the gritty realism of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the magical wonder of Hogwarts Legacy, and of course, the blockbuster action of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Any of these could easily be a favorite game of all time for the right player. Which really begs the question, what could possibly beat all of these to take the number 1 spot?
So, the crucial point is, to reach the very top of this list, a game has to completely transcend its genre. It has to be an experience so universally acclaimed and fundamentally groundbreaking that it defines the entire console generation it exists on. It represents the absolute peak of the Xbox Series X and S library.
And that game is Elden Ring. Coming in at number 1, this is a genuine modern masterpiece by the legendary team at From Software. And what makes it number 1? Well, they managed to take the famously punishing challenge and deep cryptic mystery of their linear Souls games and flawlessly drop them directly into what is, without a doubt, one of gaming's greatest open worlds.
Just look at how the source material describes this experience. Every hill hides a secret, every castle contains danger, and every victory feels earned. Actually, that last part, that's the key. Nothing is handed to you in this game. You have to fight, explore, and adapt. And because of that, Elden Ring is that incredibly rare kind of game that fundamentally reminds players exactly why they fell in love with the medium of gaming in the first place.
We've explored the very best this generation has to offer, from the high-speed thrills of Forza's Mexico to the incredible narrative freedom of Baldur's Gate, all the way to the master-crafted mysteries of Elden Ring. So I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up today's explainer. Looking at this incredible vault of top-tier experiences, where does your next gaming adventure begin? Seriously, which game will you play next? Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.